Yes, it promises to be a night of high drama in the FAI National League as the battle for the Premier Division title has come down to the last series of matches. Well, it doesn't happen very often, and the story is set to unfold over the next 2 hours or so. Will it be Shelbourne or St Patrick's Athletic who will be crowned 1997-98 league champions at the end of this evening's proceedings? Well, Oriel Park, which has been the setting for so many title deciders over the last decade, is the venue as Dundalk take on Shelbourne. A draw or a win for Shells will guarantee that the title will reside in Tulka Park. That, of course, is our live game. And we'll also be keeping you in touch with what's going on in Buckley Park, where Kilkenny City take on St Patrick's Athletic. Well, the situation going into the last two games at the top of the Premier Division table is that Shelbourne lead by 2 points from St Pat's, and crucially, they have a goal difference advantage of +6 before tonight's vital games. And also, Shamrock Rovers play Cork City. That, of course, will decide who'll finish up third in the league. Of course, a spot in Europe is at stake there. So that's the background to what has been one of the most exciting title chases for years. Shelbourne and St Pat's have been vying for this since last September. No surprise that the best clubs are involved tonight, led by two of the most colourful managers in the game, neither of whom is ever short of a few words, Pat Dolan of St Pat's and Damien Richardson of Shelbourne.
Well, basically, there's a season's work, nearly a year's work going into getting us into this very desirable position. And I've said to the players, make sure we don't blow it. And the only way you're going to blow it is by trying to do something quite extraordinary. At moments like this of your biggest test, you go back to your basics. You believe in your ability, you look at all the hard work, you look at the players around you, and each individual guarantees his best. And if you do that, then we've got a collective unit that's going to be very, very hard to beat. It's a time to believe in yourself and be very, very honest. And at the end of it, that's what life is all about.
It's an interesting... Pat, is it all still to play for?
Of course it is. It's certainly not over by any means of imagination. Both Kilkenny and Dundalk are capable of causing a shock. We hope the shock's not here tonight at Buckley Park. It's a beautiful setting. We hope the shock's up at Oriel Park.
What will you be saying to your team just before kick-off?
I'd say to do the same things that we've done all season, because they've been absolutely magnificent. Win, lose or draw, they've been a credit to their profession, and I'm so proud of them.
And win, lose or draw, Pat Dolan says they'll celebrate one way or another tonight. It's been an excellent season for St Pat's. First, Pat, I'd like to come to you because starting tonight, you'd have to say that Shelbourne really go into these final games as favourites to take the title tonight.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Shelbourne have a very, very strong squad, and even when they've got a few players out, I mean, they're a team that's always up and thereabouts, and particularly when you look at what they're doing off the pitch. But now Pats have done a remarkable job this year. I don't know, I just, because of our position over the last couple of weeks, I don't know, it's very difficult to make a decision, but definitely Shelbourne favourites, but it's not over till the fat lady sings.
Certainly not. Tommy, what do you think? I mean, a lot of people are saying that the St Pat's game is an easier game down in Buckley Park, but really they can't take Kilkenny too much for granted this evening, can they?
Oh, they cannot. Kilkenny are much improved over the last couple of months. A lot of their players are Waterford-based, and I know they'll be up for it. I would expect Pats to sneak at maybe 1 or 2 tonight. If there is a twist of fate, I think it might happen up at Oriel Park.
Pat, how much do you think Shelbourne will miss the likes of Desi Baker and Pat Fenlon, who are out through suspension?
Well, I don't think they'd miss them as much as some other smaller clubs. Shelbourne are a very big club. I see Dean Fitzgerald's coming in, Dave Smith. They've got some remarkable players in their squad, and they've done a great job, and I think they won't miss anybody, no matter who it will be. Even when Stephen Gagan was out, they got on with it and they're still there. I think they've got a lot of people in place, and they won't struggle. They certainly won't struggle in that department.
Certainly Shelbourne's record, Tommy, this year against Dundalk has been outstanding. They've played them 6 times, beaten them 5 times, drawn once, not conceded a goal. But the law of averages might suggest that Dundalk could sneak one tonight.
It certainly does, and I would expect Dundalk again to have a proper go at Shells tonight, and it would be very interesting should Dundalk sneak an early one, and then we'll see what Shells are made of.
What do you think is going to happen down at Buckley Park, Pat? I mean, you'd say St Pat's initially, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm an ex-Pats man anyway, and I hope they win. Pat Dolan has been great for the league, and I know a lot of the players, so it's going to be good. But the same with Shells. I hope Pats win, and then obviously whatever happens, the bounce of the ball will tell the tale.
OK, the teams are coming out on the pitch now at Oriel Park. Shelbourne versus Dundalk. Let's join our match commentator for the evening, George Hamilton.
Thank you, Peter. Welcome to Oriel Park. It's Dundalk against Shelbourne for the league. Really, it boils down to this, and it's all in Shelbourne's hands. For if they should win this or draw it, well then, they are the team. The champions of the National League. Top Dogs once again with the possibility of a double to come. The Reds have travelled in strength. They're making plenty of noise here. A Shelbourne team that has had changes forced upon it this evening because of suspension and injury to Dave Campbell, their midfielder.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, we know that Shelbourne, with the tension that's involved coming up here to get a point, maybe they would like to be looking for the win, but when we see the team lineup, we'll explain maybe the circumstances of the selection.
Tony O'Donoghue's our pitch-side reporter. He's been in with both teams before the game. Tony?
Yes, George, it's a tense dressing room on behalf of Shelbourne, certainly, but they said to each other, come on, we've got to make sure we don't leave it here in the dressing room. Damien Richardson said to them the last thing before they went out, we've got 2 hours now to do our business tonight. We've had a tough, hard season, and you don't want to be looking back in 2 hours' time regretting that you let it slip, that you let it go away from you. So what they've said to each other, come out, let's do it. Let's work very, very hard from the off, and that's what they intend to do, because there's no point in trying to go out here looking for the draw. That will be enough for them, of course. They want to go out here and win it. Dundalk, on the other hand, well, there was a lot of backslapping, a lot of shouting in their dressing room, but they seem quite calm and nonetheless, and they're going out to try and do their professional best as well to stop Shelbourne. They're going to try and make a game of it.
Well, they lost 4-2 to St. Patrick's Athletic last week, Dundalk did, but they were very spirited in that defeat, and it did take the lead. And it's the same 11 who start this evening as began at Richmond Park, the Stadium of Light, last Sunday. A name you may not be too familiar with if you're not too close to the National League. Roddy McQuilter, he's a Scot who joined Dundalk this season from Stirling Albion, and he played at centre-half to begin with, but he's now part of their midfield. This is how they'll take the field.
Yeah, well, Dundalk, we saw, I was over at Inchicore there on Sunday, and this is exactly the way they'll end up there. I was very impressed with the way they went about that game, and the young lad David Byrne showed an awful lot of promise, scored a very good goal. So it's going to be very interesting. They're the more relaxed side, obviously, with what's at stake. Brian Byrne, another, obviously, a big threat for Dundalk in this game, so he'd be carefully marshalled by the Shelbourne rearguard.
As for Shelbourne, well, we mentioned the suspensions and the injury. Dave Campbell is, in fact, not so much injured as suffering from pneumonia. Desi Baker and Pat Fenlon are both suspended. So basically, Tony Sheridan moves to the right side of midfield, and Mick Neville comes back, and he captains the side this evening. The grand old veteran, king of the FAI Cup. And he's there in the midfield tonight for Shelbourne. Dean Fitzgerald is in there as well. Pat Fenlon missing. This is how they'll shape up.
Well, Shelbourne going into their normal 4-4-2, and we see that Mick Neville is going in for Pat Fenlon, and Tony Sheridan going out on the right side for Desi Baker. Obviously, Damien Richardson thought, well, OK, I'm going to leave the back four, as it were, and which is a good decision, because, I mean, you don't be messing around with selection in such a vital game with your back four.
Match officials: Hugh Byrne from Dublin, assisted by John Kelly from Dublin and Joe O'Brien rather, from Kildare. Hugh Byrne has as his fourth official tonight Dave Mear, who asked me to pass birthday greetings to his father-in-law Jimmy Grace, a lifelong Shelbourne fan. He would be here except for the fact that he celebrated his 72nd birthday yesterday, and so he's having a party tonight. Well, maybe the match will form part of the party. Many happy returns, Jimmy. And there's your favourite manager, Damien Richardson, bidding for the first time to win a National League as a player or a manager.
Well, you know, it is a tense time for Damien. I mean, I've spoken to him there after the game on Sunday over at Inchicore. I've spoken to him today, and of course there's a lot of butterflies there. It's a difficult task to come here. It's probably the harder task of the two games, to come to Dundalk to get the draw as against go to Kilkenny. With all due respect to Kilkenny, that's probably an easier task.
Well, Dundalk, the Lily Whites, their last game of the season. Shelbourne, of course, have a cup final to look forward to on Sunday week, and the game is on. Dundalk defending the town end, and immediately Stephen Gagan is after this, and it'll be an early touch for Steve Williams, Dundalk's Welsh goalkeeper. Really, the form book would suggest that Dundalk have it a prayer. They've played Shelbourne, as you heard from Peter Collins, 6 times this season. They haven't even scored a goal. And you've got to go a long way back through the record books to find them winning against Shelbourne at this venue. It was back in 1994, the autumn of 94, when they won 1-0. They've had 6 home matches against Shelbourne without a victory. They failed to score in their last 4. Shelbourne's current form boasts 15 matches unbeaten and 5 straight wins.
We know it always doesn't go according to script, and I don't know, the way the league has gone this year, I mean, it's been a twist in the tail like so many times. We just wonder, will there be another one tonight?
Dundalk have been involved in so many of those twists and turns of the fickle hand of footballing fate. Here's Tony Sheridan. Oh, it was an ambitious cross, but there was no one there to take advantage of it. Stephen Gagan, 20-goal man this season, 5 to the penalty spot, that's in all competitions. Bidding to become the top league scorer for the 4th time in 5 seasons. This is Liam Kelly, formerly of Home Farm. And Mark Rutherford in the white boots tonight. And Kelly's all right. This is Liam Kelly. Oh, and he stumbled at a crucial moment. And Dundalk got away with that.
That certainly was a big let-off and a great opportunity.
It's Fitzgerald, Sheridan. Kelly again. Sheridan once more. Headed clear by Doohan. This is Mick Neville. Played all over the place for Shelbourne this season and now finding himself in the midfield.
Well, I see there's Mark Rutherford here. Look, I mean, Dundalk are pushing up for the offside, but Stephen Gagan just a little flick into the path of Liam Kelly. And he's clear throw and goal here, but you can see his touch there. Right foot onto the left foot, and the chance is gone.
Shelbourne beginning as if they mean business. Challenge there by Scully. It's Tom McNulty. Crucial player in final day heroics. The defending number Dave Smith. It's David Ward, the teenager from Blackrock in County Louth. Paul Carlisle. And now McQuilter, the Scot. Scully clear. Liam Kelly beaten to it in the air by Kevin Brady. McQuilter once more. Brian Byrne goes in. He got the better of Scully there. Ward just lost his footing. And now it's Allington. Not a great clearance. One for Ward to chase, but Smith alive to the danger. The crowd still coming in to Oriole Park. Difficult venue to reach on a bank holiday Friday if you're coming from the Dublin direction. Traffic jams the order of the night in every town and village. Mick Doohan, Tom McNulty. Offside flag raised against David Ward. Ward, who scored the opener at Pat's last Sunday. He's a young man, he's only 18, like his number, and he's only established himself in the Dundalk first team this season. A bright prospect.
Yeah, like I said, he took his opportunity very well last Sunday and had another brilliant effort to hit the post.
McQuilter, Smith and Rutherford on, but no red shirt far enough forward. It'll be no bother to Steve Williams.
Shell's be looking to feed it out to Mark Rutherford's feet because it is a wide pitch at Dundalk. Going to get some crosses in.
Scully beat Byrne, and then it's Ward. Scully went at him there, and McNulty is the shot. And eventually it's back with goalkeeper Alan Goff. Kelly. Now Sheridan. Kelly once more. Gagan runs on. Good defending by Doohan. Brian Byrne. Then it's Sheridan, and now Scully. And so Rutherford wide left. And he can now attempt to take on Hoy. Smith. Again Doohan reacted the sharper. It's Tony Sheridan. Costello pushes on. And that came off Doohan's head. And it's Hoy who clears. It reads Hoy, but around these parts that name is David Hoy. Rutherford. McNulty's clearance. And Gagan, McQuilter this time. Smith. That was Crawley, the left back. Now Byrne. Dispossessed by Fitzgerald. Neville dwelt a little too long. Carlisle got in. But now it's Scully, and he'll leave it for the throw. Right opening to this game.
Yeah, there's been a few little nervous things from the Shelbourne side, but that, of course, is expected. Mark Rutherford there, I thought he might have taken the fullback on the outside instead of coming inside, and he played his little dinky ball backwards. Got to be a bit more positive, but that'll come.
Just an idea that went slightly wrong. David Crowley waits. The ball is back. Another new face on the Dundalk team photograph. Brian Byrne on. This is Scully. Doohan again winning in the air. Carlisle not able to control it. Neville. And now Rutherford. McCoy is there. So too Ray Campbell. Carlisle. Challenged by Neville. Carlisle got the better of him. Campbell. Smith got the better of him. Forward by McQuilter. Then it's Scully. Doohan, who's been a dominant figure at the back for Dundalk in these opening minutes. David Hoy. Dave Smith in the way. Then it's Ray Campbell. Brian Byrne challenged by Scully, and that's deemed a foul by Hubert Byrne, the referee.
Pat Scully just getting a little bit too close to Brian Byrne there.
McQuilter, optimistic, but too long. Good shout by the goalkeeper there. Defender Hoy was uncertain, but the goalkeeper able to advise him there was no one there to threaten. Fitzgerald. It's Kevin Brady. Forward by Carlisle. David Ward rather, against Tony McCarthy. But the flag of the linesman indicates a throw to Shelbourne.
There is an interesting tactical thing going on with Dundalk. They've pulled David Hoy over on the right-hand side into the right back position, obviously to look out and cater for the speed of Mark Rutherford, and we've got McNulty over on the left side of midfield, which is interesting. Number 12 here.
Here's Ward. Back for Crawley. The cross that Rutherford should be able to handle. And he does, but at the expense of a corner. And the left-footed David Crowley makes the trek to the far side. Rutherford defending that adequately enough, but at the expense of a corner. And Dundalk with 5 men in the box. Crawley takes, but a little too much air on it, and it's gone harmlessly enough away, and eventually out off the corner flag for a goal kick. Alan Goff, the Shelbourne goalkeeper. Mick Neville, 37 years of age. This is his final season. This is his final match in the National League.
It would be a fabulous way to finish up for Mick. What a great career he's had. If they were to clinch, Ellsworth to clinch the championship here, it really would make a tremendous end to a great career.
On by Sheridan. Crawley. McCarthy there first. Hoy. Taking on Sheridan. Neville makes the challenge, and it's deemed to be a foul, and we can't really argue. The referee was right there. Perfect position to spot it.
It's maybe a bit harsh. Neville got the ball there. You know, it's
Some more defending for Shelbourne to do. Taken by Carlisle. McQuilter. Oh, McCarthy was all over him. Doohan tries to get in there. It's cleared by Neville. And Liam Kelly chases. Kevin Brady's there first, and that's out for a throw.
Well, you know, that free kick there that was hoisted in, Tony McCarthy would want to be careful there because it looked like he had both arms over his opponent.
Rutherford and Fitzgerald. Stephen Gagan's gone in the area. Crawley away. And then Neville with a shot. Plenty of power in it, but sadly lacking the direction.
Yeah, he's a lovely striker of the ball, Mick. He didn't catch that quite off the meat, just slightly on the right side, on the outside of the instep.
Made 21 appearances as and 3 substitute call-ups in the Shelbourne lineup in the league this year. Here's Hoy for Dundalk. Moment of agitation. This really has been a great season for Damien Richardson, but he knows he has to get something at the end of it. And the pressure clearly showing there. Brian Byrne. Crawley. McNulty forward. Crawley turning Sheridan. Steve Williams. Goes McNulty. And he got the bounce there. Now it's Byrne taking on Scully. And Brian Byrne complaining that Scully was manhandling him out of the way.
No, I think the referee was right to let that one go, because Brian, he didn't feed the ball past him, so I mean Scully just shepherded him.
Gagan. Byrne got in first, then McNulty. Ward. Dispossessed by Costello. Scully forward. It's Crawley. Carlisle. And McNulty. Crawley. And Quilter. That's a lot of Crawley. He answered the question. And then doing there ahead of Liam Kelly once more. It's Carlisle and it's Hoy. Challenged by Rutherford.
Certainly a bit of anxiety with the Shelbourne play, because we see Mark Rutherford coming in a midfield position, which is obviously not his strength. And also on the far side, Tony Sheridan's starting to drift in. Shelbourne want to be careful about keeping their balance, as they say in the game.
McQuilter. Rutherford away. It's cleared by Smith. Well, as we have a throw to Dundalk, we have a goal in Kilkenny.
Came after 5 minutes. This is Eddie Gormley lining up to take a free for St. Patrick's Athletic. Swings it in. Unfortunately for Kilkenny City keeper John Connolly, he fails to hold it, and there's Colin Hawkins passing to put St. Pat's 1 up at Buckley Park. The goal coming after 5 minutes, as I said.
Well, that keeps you bang up to date. Colin Hawkins, 1-0 Pats. They need 7, of course, if they're to dislodge Shelbourne in goal difference, and they also need Shelbourne not to win here. Scully. McNulty against Sheridan, and he did well. Here's Tom McNulty. It's gone harmlessly enough away, but Tom McNulty, he's a key figure in these matches at the end of the season. He scored a late winner at Cork some years ago to send Cork into mourning and Dundalk to the championship, and he scored 2 in '95, the year that Dundalk surprised everybody when Derry were down to win the league.
Well, he certainly is a fearsome competitor, as I know. Like, I mean, it's all the manager says is a player that you want on your side. And of course, tonight he's been put across on the left-hand side of midfield to look after Tony Sheridan. I don't know if it's for that as the objective, or more for Hoy to look after Mark Rutherford. I'll fancy the latter.
We've got another throw to Dundalk. And we shouldn't forget that Dundalk, although they're 7th in the league, they're only 2 points out of the top half of the table, and they have been up there this season. A remarkable performance by Jim McLaughlin to turn the team around. Scully and Ward. The shot straight at the goalkeeper Goff, but again he was there in the right place. And here's McNulty winning it back. And not much question about the attitude of Dundalk and what they intend to do. And of course, Jim McLaughlin was the manager at Shelbourne and left in somewhat controversial circumstances, so perhaps a little personal score to settle.
What we see here, this is maybe a little indication of the Shelbourne nerves. Shelbourne were pushing up, but they haven't pushed that far enough, and David Ward gets in there. This is what he's capable of, this lad. He did this on Sunday, and gets his shot in quick there, but unfortunately straight at Alan Goff. or fortunately for Shelbourne, it was fit, Alan Goff.
Another free kick to Dundalk. Crawley a little close to Goff, but he had to punch it, and he was really under pressure from McQuilter there, but it was good goalkeeping. Now Rutherford. Gagan. That was Fitzgerald, and Carlisle intercepted. Throw in to Shelbourne. Rutherford. Came off Ray Campbell. That's Paul Carlisle, who's been prominent in the midfield so far. Here's Kelly turning, but McQuilter defending. Now Campbell again. Carlisle always available. Neville won it back. A little too generous with the pass forward. And it's thrown from Williams to Crawley. Dua. And McNulty. And eventually it rebounded off the Dundalk man.
Just an observation, George, you know, that when Shelbourne just were a little bit edgy there after the cup runs with St. Patrick's, I kind of observed that they were trying to play the killer ball too early. And so far in this game, this is what they're doing, and they can't do that, or they should not do that, because it's not the Shelbourne way, giving it away too early.
This kick by Costello. Sheridan on to McCarthy. It's Brady. Carlisle. Crawley. Byrne for McNulty. Warden staying on side, had removed himself from the equation. McQuilter got the better of Kelly there. And then it's Neville. And Gagan trying to get in between the defenders. Crawley got it back to Williams. Long from Crawley for Byrne. Costello with a header. And Dundalk get the throw. Crawley. McNulty. Byrne. Scully defends. Crawley takes the throw. Campbell. Crawley. McQuilter. Early ball in towards Ward. Down it comes for Brian Byrne. First touch let him down. Forced wide to Carlisle. Helped on then to Ward. And Neville makes the clearance. But this young man, David Ward, is obviously going to be one to watch. Not only tonight, but in the seasons to come. Byrne. Well, the idea was sound. The execution didn't work out quite as he would have expected. David Ward, just 18 years of age. He comes from the coast in Louth, Blackrock, like another young lad, Derek Delaney, who's a sub tonight. Dundalk very pleased with the progress of these two, who've come into the first team squad this season. And he's done really well, got him one of the goals.
It took a fairly timely intervention by Mick Neville there to cut out the danger from Ward.
On by Neville, then Doohan. Here's Ward again. Campbell and Ward continues the run. Neville makes a very good challenge. And now it's Smith. Well, the ball went out for a Shelbourne throw, but prior to that, the flag had gone up for an offside. And so the advantage goes back to Dundalk. You really get the impression that Dundalk are wishing this season wasn't about to end, because they've actually hit some form of late. Maybe their consolation would be to put one over on the would-be champions. Doohan. He'll be playing his old mates from Bray in the Premier next season. Here's Ward again. To the side for Campbell. Carlisle rather. Hoy. Taking on Rutherford. Dave Smith did the defending. Then Neville, Kelly, and now McQuilter. Shelbourne fans who are creating or contributing to a marvellous atmosphere in Oriel Park, getting frustrated with their team. Oh, Byrne outside his area. Was that handball? The referee said no, and the throw is awarded to Shelbourne.
Well, this is another example of the nervousness in the Shelbourne back four, because they're trying to hold the line, but you see there it's left between Pat Scully and Alan Goff. Alan Goff has an awful lot to do there, and Brian Burr is quite entitled to go for that one. It could have broke quite easily for him to tap into an empty net.
McQuilter, McNulty. Goff there to take it, caught by Ward just as he was in midair, but no foul. Yes, it is a league of 33 matches, but the way it has developed and the way it has come down to the wire, it might as well be a cup final. Rutherford. Offside against Gagan. The past master at timing the runs, and clearly feeling that he didn't get the benefit of the doubt there. The linesman Joe O'Brien was quite adamant. That's McNulty. Byrne. And he was pushed by Costello. It's a free kick to Dundalk. Crawley. Byrne. Byrne with a cross. Oh, and Ward couldn't get turned on it. And Smith has cleared it. It's a free kick anyway. A foul in the box. But these 90 minutes for Damien Richardson are developing into something of a torture.
Oh yeah, I've been down that road, George. Yeah, there'll be a lot of tension there for Damien, because you know it's the whole season wrapped up in one performance.
And that was a chance. Was it McQuilter got in anyway and committed the foul? Shelbourne with the free kick. We're at the midpoint, it just passed into the first half. No goals as yet. But an intriguing tussle. A real chance to Liam Kelly here early on, which would really have settled the Shelbourne nerves.
I honestly think that Liam or Shelbourne would have loved that chance to come to Liam Kelly kind of just a little bit further into the game, where he might have been just a little bit more settled, because it was a great chance.
Shelbourne with a free kick. Then Costello and Tony Sheridan together. Now the options ahead, there they are. It's Kelly's furthest away. Scully's gone forward and McCarthy too, the two centre halves. Dean Fitzgerald is no small man either. So there's plenty there for Costello to aim at. He's gone for McCarthy. We've got a little touch and it's broken for Gagan. Out to George Scully, and saved by Williams. Big Pat Scully in double figures in the scoring charts this season.
This is Stephen Gagan does very well there. He just tries and gets it into the danger area, knowing that Pat Scully is going to be there or thereabouts, and of course he is. He's done well, Pat Scully, and he's just unlucky that he didn't go either side of the keeper, a bit further away from the keeper.
That was Rutherford, on by Neville, then back by McQuilter. Fitzgerald. Carlisle goes in to try and win it. Then it's Campbell, back for Hoy. Played on for Campbell. Dave Smith, the defender, and that's a throw to Dundalk. Brian Byrne. Carlisle nearly got in there, and he might yet. Byrne, challenged by Neville. Fitzgerald. Campbell. Hit the target, but Goff read it well.
A very, very messy little spell there. Shelbourne playing it very close, in danger area, not clearing their lines. Get it away.
Crawley for Dundalk. Carlisle. Intercepted by Smith. Now Neville. And under pressure from David Ward. He's gone for the throw. This is the last incident. Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell, he's trying to lob Alan Goff. It's a good effort with his left foot.
It's Byrne. Here's Ward. McCarthy with the challenge, then Sheridan. Neville. Gagan. McDowan wins it back. Crawley. McNulty. Tony McCarthy makes the challenge. Throw in.
There certainly is a lot of tension etched in a few faces out there. Understandably so.
Campbell. Made the angle for the cross. Wasn't a particularly good one. Costello heads clear. McNulty. Byrne. Still Brian Byrne. And Crawley has room to cross it. But a little too much air on it. McCarthy heads clear. It's come to Carlisle. Taking on Rutherford, but unable to control the ball. And the linesman indicates the throw is to Shelbourne. It's always tempting at times like this to suggest that the team in contention aren't playing like potential champions, but there is, as you rightly said, so much at stake that all of this league is boiling down to this night, and they can't afford to slip up.
Well, that's it, you know, and okay, we know that, I mean, without even just 0-0 will do, Shells, but that's a dodgy way to go about it, and we know they're not attempting it that way.
Costello. Williams comes, Rutherford is up, but the keeper was in charge. McCarthy. Rick Neville, bundled off it by Carlisle. Free kick for Shelbourne. Back it goes to Smith. And now Neville who can hit them. But on that occasion he didn't quite chalk his cue. But a potential threat from that position.
Well, that move started and finished with Mick Neville. He was the one who fed it to Mark Rutherford, who fed it back to Dave Smith, and then Dave Smith hit it across then again, like the shot that Nick Neville had earlier. He just catches with the outside of his foot. Of course, it loses a lot of its power there.
Gagan trying to get Kelly in. Crawley in charge. Nobody. He was in charge, but Kelly very nearly made him pay for being a little too arrogant. Do it. It's come to Neville. Sheridan against Crawley, who won it. Throw in to Shelbourne.
Tony Sheridan just over hitting that one there. I mean, he did very well to get past McNulty, but then instead of threading it through on the deck, he lifted it up and just overpaced it a bit.
Pick on by Byrne. Costello. McNulty. Harmlessly enough away. Half an hour. Dundalk 0, Shelbourne 0. And as you may well have seen, it's Kilkenny 0, St. Pat's 1. The relevance of a Pat's victory only enters the equation should Shelbourne lose here or draw and Pats win by 7. Scully out of play.
It really is a big worry, or not worry, but I mean, what to do in these circumstances for Damien. Do the right thing, obviously win the league, but a good example, say, would be that in the midfield you've got Damien, you've got Mick Neville and Dean Fitzgerald. Not, shall we say, creative players like, say, Tony Sheridan, Pat Fenner is missing. But once it stays at 0-0, Shells have won the league.
Well, here's Brian Byrne in, And his attempt on goal comes off Costello and goes behind for the corner. Oh, what agonies he is going through.
Yes, Brian Byrne just turning up and Greg Costello getting the block on there. But I think Greg Costello he's got a bit of problem with his groins.
Well, they try to shrug that off and defend this corner. David Ward is on the goal line. Brian Byrne is in there too. McQuilter and Doohan are up. Crawley will take the corner. A lot of air on it. McQuilter rising. And Alan Goff got there under too much pressure from David Ward. It's a free kick to Shelbourne. The trajectory a bit lower, in the impression that McQuilter might have made more of it.
Here we are. This is played. Dundalk have been playing their corners very deep, and of course Tony McCarthy there handling McQuilter. McQuilter just gets above him, but can't direct it anywhere.
Campbell. Tussle with Neville, then it's forward from Fitzgerald and offside against Stephen Gagan.
Stephen Gagan's a bit annoyed there, but the linesman is right. I mean, but then again, we know that Stephen Gagan, that is a great strength of his. He just hangs on that last man. He'd be offside maybe 2 or 3 times, but then the one time he's in.
Costello. Clearance goes out of play. Throw into Dundalk. Crawley. McNulty, Crawley. Doohan. It's Carlisle. And McQuilter with Kelly, and the game goes on. Very vigorous. The referee was right there and decided all was fair. Crawley. Costello. And now Sheridan. Campbell losing out to McCarthy, but recovering well. Carlisle goes for the run of Campbell up the wing. McCarthy out of the middle, and the ball put out by Tony McCarthy. Throw in to Dundalk. Carlisle. Well read by Dave Smith. That last touch Sheridan, so he want to keep it in play, and he can't. It's a throw to Dundalk. David Crawley. Ward offering him movement. This is Ward. And Crawley. And off the Shelbourne man and out for another throw to Dundalk.
It's worth mentioning David Smith there just tried to clear it, and it looked like it was a bad control, but it actually, the pitch is a little bit rough, uneven, so the ball just bobbled there. But that's not helping either set of players.
Push by McQuilter on Costello, and the free kick to Shelbourne. He came from Stirling Albion during the season, and he's made 12 league appearances and also has a goal against Bohemians in the 3-3 draw to show for his efforts. Neville. And Crawley being put under pressure by Kelly. Well, he's won the throw. The Dundalk have got the throw, but we've some news for you. Tony O'Donoghue down by the Shelbourne bench
A very tense Shelbourne bench at the moment, in particular now because Greg Costello seems to be carrying that groin injury that Owen Hand was talking about earlier, and they're very worried about him at the moment, thinking perhaps about a change already.
And that they would not have wanted. And they'll hope that he can soldier on until half-time, give him some attention. Costello taking the throw. Crawley with another throw. Quilter. Fitzgerald and Carlisle. Attempted getting it as far forward as possible. Return by Scully, on by Sheridan. Kelly trying to get in there. Do it again to the rescue. Towering game he's had at centre half for Dundalk. McQuilter. Crawley struck long. Ward against Costello. Costello the winner. Then McQuilter once more. Byrne to challenge McCarthy, who got the touch, but it's come only to Campbell. Rutherford in defending. Then it's Ward, picked out Byrne, trying to lob the keeper, and furious with himself that he didn't make more of it. But the chances, such as they are coming to Dundalk.
Well, you know, it is disturbing for Shelbourne, but you can see here, I mean, Shelbourne are a bit all over the place. You've got Mick Neville back in there, you've got Mark Rutherford here. You can see Mark Rutherford there in the old right half position. You know, it's a bit of panic there. We're worried about Greg Costello. I would imagine that if Greg does have to retire, which would be a big blow to Shelbourne, that Declan Gagan will come in at left back and David Smith slot across into the right back position.
Where he's played a number of times for Shelbourne in the past. Oh, Scully dispossessed by Byrne, and then a free kick is awarded against Brian Byrne, who felt that he had been sinned against here, like that. And then when he got up again, well, when he did get up, he obviously fouled Scully. Sheridan. Then it's Costello. Rutherford in ahead of Hoy. Doing well against Gagan again. And now Ward against McCarthy, who got the touch. That sign, obviously, the indication that Greg Costello feels he can play no further part in this game. And a further concern for Damien Richardson, who's got a lot on his plate at the moment with the way his team is playing. And it's been one opinion too many. Dave Meir, the fourth official, was involved. There he is with a number now. They're going to send on, as Owen Hand rightly predicted, Declan Gagan in place of Greg Costello. If you recognise the man in shot now, Alan Kinsella, former stalwart, and this is Declan Gagan about to come in, but not just yet. Won by Doohan. Stephen Gagan. Now Campbell. McNulty, McQuilter. Carlisle. Scully defending. Doohan puts it out. And a very good first half for the former Bray man. Now the change is about to be made on Shelbourne's behalf. Declan Gagan, who's missed a lot of the season through injury, is coming on. Greg Costello goes off, and that Dave Smith means Dave Smith here will move to right back.
Yeah, it was the obvious one. Just a point about Shelbourne, you know, when they are getting in behind the ball and they do win it back, they are totally out of shape at this moment in time, i.e. Mark Rutherford's deep inside, Tony Sheridan's not there, Mick Neville's there. They really have to get the balance sorted out.
The first change forced upon Shelbourne by the groin injury, the recurrence of the groin injury, part of Greg Costello. Declan Gagan resumes, and the number 3 will tell you that in his glory days he was the regular left back in this Shelbourne squad.
He's a very good player. He's a very handy replacement to have, that's for sure.
And Stephen Gagan's elder brother by 6 years. That's the kid. And there's the older son.
Declan Gagan knows what it's all about. He reads the game very well, and distributes. Excellent.
And he'll take this throw in. On by Stephen Gagan, and McQuilter. A missed kick by McDowan. Blot on his otherwise impeccable copybook this evening. Brady, Kevin Brady, out of play. Throw to Shelbourne. Well, they're certainly giving them every encouragement. But there's still 45 minutes and then some of this half to go before Shelbourne reach the championship harbour. It's Kelly. Only Sheridan leaving. Now Smith. Sheridan. Fitzgerald. Intercepted by McNulty. And played forward for Ward. Tracked back by Fitzgerald. Ward did well there, but just was slightly off balance when Sheridan arrived. Now it's Fitzgerald again. Sheridan for Stephen Gagan. Lovely play. Sheridan trying to release Fitzgerald, but Coulter read the intention and opts for the safety of the touchline. Fitzgerald cleared by Hoy, and now McNulty. Carlisle, but there's no white shirt through the middle. And as halftime approaches, you get the impression that Shelbourne may well have weathered the worst of the storm. Close to the winner there, McNulty, and then Neville, and Gagan's onside this time.
Just a word about Tony Sheridan. I just wonder, will Damien Richards be thinking about maybe using him more in the inside, in the middle of the midfield, because he's not contributing much out here, and I just know that, I mean, he can influence the game a great deal. Of course, we do know that it's still 0-0, and that comes into it.
Scully. Sheridan. It's McQuilter, it came off Fitzgerald, then it's Smith, but it's out of play. Throw to Dundalk, and we're now into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Well, he can calm his nerves a little now. He'll have them for the half-time interval to go through what might be done better in the second half to make sure that they win this championship. Campbell couldn't get there, Rutherford clears it. Now it's Hoy. Well read by Gagan, Declan Gagan that is. And the throw in will not take place because it's half-time at Oriel Park. A half in which Shelbourne began brightly. Liam Kelly might have scored in the early moments, but he lost control of the ball. It was Dundalk who carried the greater threat up to the interval. But at half-time here, it's as Shelbourne would wish, or at least not any worse than they'd wish, 0-0. But there is more news from Kilkenny. Peter Collins.
Yes, many thanks, George. That's the situation after a rather nervous first half for Shelbourne. They're 0-0 at Oriel Park. We do have more news from Buckley Park. A second goal has been scored down there. Remember, St Patrick's Athletic took the lead. Well, Kilkenny City have equalised. Ray Carlin with the cross into Trevor Vaughan. And it was Mick Moody who tried to make the clearance. The ball eventually put to the back of the net by Martin Reid. So Martin Reid, the goal scorer there for Kilkenny City. It's 1-1 as they approach half-time down there. OK, well, Pat Devlin, first of all, reaction from you from that first half. As I said, Shelbourne not looking as confident as you'd expect.
Well, when there's so much at stake, you can expect that. I mean, I've gone through it the last couple of weeks, and I know Tommy has gone through it. And when players are out there, and you realise that there's 12 months, even more, gone into tonight, and you're a little bit cagey. But I think at this stage they've weathered the storm, and maybe over the next 10-15 minutes, if they settle themselves a little bit more, they'll start taking control, because Dundalk are probably giving it their best shot and still haven't produced anything. So I think Shelbourne will be reasonably happy, because they haven't played well and they've got to do a little bit better in the second half.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll be reasonably pleased to hear at half-time that it's 1-1 down at Buckley Park.
Absolutely.
Too. Yeah. Tommy, what do you think Damien Richardson is going to say to the players now at half-time? Because they've got to keep their heads on their shoulders in the second half.
They certainly do. There's loads of room for improvement with Shells. He'll be trying to get them to play their natural game. But as Pat said, the pressure they're under is phenomenal. So I do think, like Pat said, they have weathered the storm. They'll probably have to weather it for the first 10-15 minutes at the start of the second half. And then I would think Shells will come into their own and maybe snatch a chance. Having said that, for all their possession and a couple of chances, really Gough hasn't made that many saves for Shells.
Yeah, as I said, Tommy, there were a few chances in that first half. We'll be able to have a look at those shortly after the break, and we'll also be bringing you more news from Buckley Park. So 1-1 between Kilkenny City and St Patrick's Athletic. It's 0-0 between Dundalk and Shelbourne at Oriel Park. We're back shortly with more. And you're very welcome back to our coverage of tonight's National League decider between Shelbourne and Dundalk, live from Oriel Park. The score at the end of the first half, 0-0, although there were a couple of chances in that first half. I suppose, Pat, the first one we picked out was one of the better chances, falling to Liam Kelly very early on, and you would have expected him to do a little bit better with this one, wouldn't you? Yeah,
well, I thought Liam was a little bit unlucky. It was a great move down the left. You can see it here. Rutherford knocked a nice little ball into Stephen Gagan. His first touch looked decent, but all of a sudden his feet got and it just bobbled away from him. But usually looking at Liam, these are the ones that he puts away, and it certainly would have settled the nerves. I think if you look at it there, a little bit more composure, maybe I think he got caught in 2 minds rather than anything else, but he usually puts those chances away, and it certainly would have settled the nerves.
Yeah, I mean, Ray mentioned during the game there that the ground is a little bit hard. It appears to be a little bit bobbly there, and that possibly affected Liam on that particular chance.
Yeah, well, I'd like to sort of say it did, but because Liam is a very, very skillful player, and I think he was just a little unlucky. These are the ones that goes either for you or against you, and unfortunately, in that case, it went against him, but it certainly would have set the nerves if he had to put that one away.
It certainly would. Well, it's been a kind of nervous first half, as we said, Tommy, and the better chances really after that appeared to fall Dundalk's way. They seemed to create a little bit more, and in fact, Ward had a fine chance about 10 minutes in. I think we can have a look at that one as well for Dundalk.
He certainly did. As you can see, the ball just broke harmlessly, lobbed back in over the top. They push up, got a great first touch and a sweet strike, and anywhere else, and that probably would have troubled him. Just helped over. You see Scully pushing out. He's caught then, good first touch, and as I say, across the keeper, and that could have gone anywhere. Fortunately for Shells, it's straight at him.
Yeah, are you a bit surprised the way they've been a little bit lacklustre at the back tonight?
They certainly have, but Dundalk have put them under vast amounts of pressure, and as you can see, Tony Sheridan's back covering right back. Mark Rutherford is coming across, doing a defensive job as well, and Dundalk are pushing forward in numbers, and they're getting there to the break of the ball, and that's they're hunting in packs. They're not giving Shells a chance to clear the ball effectively, and any break of the ball, there always seems to be a Dundalk man picking it up.
How important is it, Pat, to have a player of the experience of Mick Neville, who's just back, of course, having been ill with pneumonia in recent times, but he's made a few important contributions to the game in that first half.
Oh, Mick Neville is a vital member of the squad. Mick has won doubles with Derry, Shamrock Rovers. He's been around. He's a great ambassador of the game, a great professional. And have someone in your team is like Mick is vital. You can see it here. You know, they're on the attack. Mick reads again quite well. Gets in the little tackle. No foul. Other players probably would have fouled there, given a free kick against you. Then obviously you're in a little bit of bother. But great ambassador for the game and has been for many, many years.
There's been very little really coming from midfield from a Shelbourne point of view. You always expect the supply lines to be open to Stephen Gagan, because if he gets the ball, more often than not, he's inclined to put it in the back of the net. Are you surprised at that?
Well, they haven't created anything in the middle of the park, which surprised me. And if you look at the two players wide, Sheridan and Rutherford, I mean, Rutherford in particular, when he gets a ball, he's quite, particularly in a one-to-one, he's very, very good, as you've seen with the Liam Kelly chance.
Yeah.
But Tony, as Tommy pointed out, he's ended up in a right full position. And I think if he adjusts himself a little bit more and maybe gets a little bit more involved, they've got Dino inside and Mick. I think maybe if they put their foot on it, and he certainly can create chances, but you know, Declan up front, or Stephen up front has not really got an awful lot to do, and until they start opening them up, they're always going to be struggling.
Yeah. Well, while Stephen is the leading scorer at the club, Tommy, it's great to see, I suppose, from a defender's point of view, that the second highest scorer with Shelbourne this season is Pat Scully. He's been extraordinary, and a good chance fell to him in that first half as well, and it was sort of typical Scully approach, attacking the ball. I think we can see it here.
Certainly was, just helped in, the ball breaks, and as you say, Stephen's out of position, he just helps it back in the box. Scully jumps over the defender, gets it on target, which is all he can do in that situation. So just big back in the box, and I think he outjumps Crowley at the back. And maybe he'll be a bit disappointed didn't end up in the net. He has scored, I think, tougher goals than that this season. But apart from that, they haven't created anything.
No, and it's been a relatively clean game, so very few opportunities from set pieces from which Shelbourne have capitalised so often this season.
Yeah, as I say, they have the big boys. McCarthy, who we've seen score goals. Scully, as I say, his record is second to none. Yeah. But it's been very tight.
OK, Tommy and Pat, thanks for the moment. We're going to take a short break. Afterwards, we'll have another look at the 2 goals down at Buckley Park. It's 1-1 down there between Kilkenny City and St Patrick's Athletic. We're back with you shortly after this. OK, let's have a quick look now at what's been happening down at Buckley Park in the first half there. 2 goals in the game so far. The first going to St Patrick's Athletic. That's an Eddie Gormley free kick after 5 minutes. John Connolly failing to hold it there. A bit of a goal-mouth schmozzle before Colin Hawkins slammed it to the back of the net. A 1-0 to St Patrick's Athletic, but Kilkenny City did strike back. Ray Carlin into Trevor Vaughan. And it's Mick Moody attempting the clearance there, but it rebounds, and Martin Reid puts it in the back of the net. So 1-1 at Buckley Park. Now let's go back to Oriel Park for the second half. We rejoin our commentary team of George Hamilton and Owen Hand.
Thank you, Peter. We're all set to go. And it's Shelbourne who'll kick off the second half, playing from right to left. And just before the half settles down, news from the 2 camps from Tony O'Donoghue.
Well, no changes on either side, and in fact, listening to the Shelbourne manager Damien Richardson at half-time, he's asked the 2 wide men, Mark Rutherford and Tony Sheridan, to make sure they can try and turn defenders this half. They haven't been doing that in the first half. He wants them to show more hunger as well.
And here's Rutherford doing just that, and doing very well. Owen Kelly was there, and Carlisle just gets there ahead of Stephen Gagan, and the clearance is made. Well, a close call at the start of the second half for Dundalk, just as there was at the start of the first. And again, it was Liam Kelly.
It was a good chance, but there's a little part of this, if we can see it again. Mark Rutherford does very well here, and this is the hunger that we're talking about. He battles here, and he gets in, he gets his cross in. That's what he's there for. Liam Kelly comes in, but I'm a bit disturbed that this ball is on the loose now. Tony Sheridan should be in around there, but Tony's hanging out. He's going to be attacking at that side there. There's a goal-scoring chance.
Stays 0-0. Kelly. It's Kevin Brady. And back to Steve Williams. Throw in to Shelbourne. Neville will take. Well, the shepherds around County Louth will be happy about the prospects for tomorrow's weather. The evening draws on apace at Oriel Park. And the 1997-98 Harp-Lager National League is in its final 45 minutes. Will it be Shelbourne? It would appear now that only Dundalk can deny them. Judging by what's been happening to Pats at Kilkenny. This is Crawley. Intercepted by McCarthy. Geoghegan. Kelly, Geoghegan, Kelly again. And Sheridan. This is more like Shelbourne. Sheridan turning Crawley. And then back for Smith. Not a great cross. Rutherford does his best to make something of it, but can't keep it in play.
Well, it was much better. I mean, this is what Shelbourne have got to be doing, because Liam Kelly and Stephen Geoghegan, they worked it well between them, and they finished up there with Tony Sheridan. Tony Sheridan feeds it back to David Smith, but it's a little bit heavy. But that's much better from Shelbourne.
That was Fitzgerald, and it's Hoy. And a push by McCarthy and Brian Byrne. Here's McNulty. Byrne making ground up the left is Crawley. Ward and Byrne in the middle. Crawley turns Tony Sheridan, but then gives it away to Neville. Sheridan seeks Stephen Geoghegan, and it's out off him for the throw to Dundalk. Scully. It's Fitzgerald. And they were a little too close attendance on Dean Fitzgerald. Free kick to Shelbourne. And Neville will take it. McCarthy trying to get around the back, and Rutherford too, and it was last touched by Hoy, and that's the first corner of the second half and the first of the match to Shelbourne.
Yeah, Mick Neville's a lovely striker of the ball. Look at this. I mean, it's a great angle on it, and just maybe a little bit deep. Hoy sees the corner kick,
which will be taken by the self-same Mick Neville, and that's the area that Steve Williams has to marshal his defence. Here it comes. He found Hoy. Came off the referee. Now it's Rutherford. Neville ball into the centre, which Ward has collected. Declan Geoghegan with an effort, but it's too high.
I fancy Declan Geoghegan says, well, I'll just hit it so that we can get back into our positions. Let Mick Neville get back in, get our shape again.
Quilter. And handball against Shelbourne, a free kick to Dundalk. Carlisle leaves it for McQuilter, who in turn leaves it for Carlisle. Now Crawley. Headed clear by Fitzgerald and retrieved by Campbell. Carlisle. Campbell's continued his run. Campbell against Rutherford. Back for Carlisle. Campbell. Cleared away by Neville.
Nice little stanza of play between Campbell and Hoy and Carlisle. And maybe Shelbourne can learn from that. They're just getting it set up for themselves that they could deliver. The final delivery ball wasn't good, but Shells have got to start doing that.
Carlisle with the throw. Off Fitzgerald. Sheridan clears. And safety it was because there was no one in that region. McNulty. Byrne. Smith. Doohan, who's pushed on forward, and out it goes off Scully and away. Crossed in by Crawley, off Rutherford, and if Geoghegan can't keep it in, it's a corner. Dundalk's first of the second half. Now they bring the left back, David Crawley, across to swing him in, except Campbell's going to take it quickly. And Doohan was pushed by Scully. Ward! David Ward has scored his third of the season. The youngster who put the other title contenders behind last Sunday has done it again. The quickly taken corner, the swift cross, and the impeccable finish after Scully seemed to foul Doohan.
Crawley gets it in great, but you see, nobody doing is up there, and of course it breaks through. And look at David Ward there. He controls it and smashed it in the back of the net. It was coming, I must admit, it was coming, and hopefully this will shake up Shelbourne.
Well, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, they'll often say. Quite clearly, she has yet to leave the dressing room. What a turn up. David Ward does it again. How he'll remember his first season, and how he'll remember how it concluded his last two appearances, and he puts a goal in, first against Pats and then against Shells.
Yeah, he showed a great deal of experience, or shall we say coolness under pressure. You see him there, he takes it on his chest. That's great control and such maturity there, just to take it the proper way and smash it.
Well, his video collection won't be too extensive yet, but that will have pride of place, I'd say. And more agony for Damien Richardson. It's that kind of night. And that news is sure to reach Buckley Park. And maybe incentive enough for Pats to get themselves back in front. Are Dundalk to have a say yet again in the destination of the championship? We're just awaiting the removal of the latest roll of bus tickets. Or perhaps it's a supermarket checkout roll, whatever it is. It doesn't belong on the pitch. Well, that was Scully. But no trouble to Williams. And the chant has come on the Lily Whites. That, incidentally, Dundalk's first goal in 7 meetings with Shelbourne this season.
This is Mick Neville's free kick, and of course Pat Scully, maybe that's one that he didn't want directed straight at goal. Across the goal might have created a lot more danger.
Out off Rutherford. And the throw into Dundalk. Shelbourne with a 15-match unbeaten run behind them. The last team to score a victory over Shelbourne were Sligo Rovers in the Cup, the League Cup final. They haven't lost a league match since Bows beat them at Talca Park on the 23rd of January.
Shells have got to start stringing a few passes together and get into that rhythm. They haven't really got into any rhythms since the beginning of this game.
McNulty. Byrne chasing against Scully. Scully did his job well. An opportunity now for Shelbourne to prove that they are worthy champions. Get themselves back into this game. Mick Neville's won the free kick. Time for Brady and company to defend the Dundalk penalty area. Two centre halves are up. David Hoy's back. Neville takes the free kick. McCarthy goes up. It's off McQuilter's head. McCarthy's still there. Williams has to punch. But Dundalk bring it away. Ward. Back once more by Neville. And no trouble to Williams.
It was good goalkeeping, but when he came in through all the players there to get a good fist on it, got it out to the edge of his penalty area.
Been a great acquisition for Dundalk. Steve Williams, the Welsh goalkeeper. And here's Brian Byrne, Dublin striker. McNulty goes outside. Byrne tries to feed him in, but the flag goes up. McNulty was marginally offside. The pass fractionally delayed. Shelbourne survived that. Now this is Williams at his best.
Yeah, well, you know, it's half cleared. We see McCarthy, Tony McCarthy climbing up, and he gets it back into danger here. And this is he's got to get above everybody there and get a good clean fist on it.
Sheridan. McQuilter went right through him, and that's going to be a yellow card for Ronnie McQuilter. Pat Scully offering an opinion. McQuilter being told by the referee Hubert Byrne, I'll take charge of this. And he gets his name in the book. The tie's gone. Serious business. And it wouldn't be the night for standing around open-necked without an overcoat, but clearly Damien Richardson is feeling no pain, even if his team are. Well, foul there by Scully.
Yeah, it's a deep one again, and the goalkeeper Williams is coming for it. He's looking to get a two-handed catch, but it looks like he got a little push up on Pat Scully there.
McCarthy winning. Came off Kelly. Fitzgerald. Here goes Stephen Gagan. Corey defending. Doohan completed the job. McQuilter, but a loose header, and Neville has it back for Shells. Campbell battles on. Oh, and then Campbell caught by Declan Gagan. I think it was more an accident than anything else. That's how the referee viewed it. Well defended by Hoy. Then McQuilter past Sheridan. Trying to settle nerves. Here's McNulty for Dundalk. Carlisle and Crawley. And the intention was to release someone through that channel in the middle, but no one was able to take advantage. It's Declan Gagan now. Challenged by Campbell. Then it's McCarthy, and he picks out Rutherford. Do it. McQuilter. Deft footwork. David Ward, not such a good pass. Crawley came in, bundled over Tony Sheridan, caught him in the back of the neck, and another yellow card being produced for a Dundalk player.
Yeah, it was a rash challenge, all right. I mean, it's coming right in on top of Tony Sheridan. Dundalk, mind you, just showing a calmness there and building up. We saw McQuilter just outside his penalty area, just playing it calmly and getting some passes together, and then threatening the Shelbourne penalty area. It's just a little thing to ponder upon, because Shelbourne are not doing the same thing.
He's all right. Again, Williams puts to the pin of his collar to defend. That game in Buckley Park at the similar stage to this one, about an hour gone. The tension of this occasion becoming ever more apparent. But with half an hour to go of this league campaign, if it stays like that in both venues, it's Shelbourne's title. I can tell you the tension here, very, very evident indeed. Dundalk, down all the years, have won this championship on 9 occasions. Shelbourne tonight are hoping to do that. And if they do, Cork City are a 2-0 up at Tulka Park against Shamrock Rovers, will be in the Cup Winners' Cup next season. As it is, they're jousting for a place in the UEFA. They're in Europe anyway. And it really looks like the UEFA is theirs if Shelbourne don't win this championship. Brian Byrne brought down by McCarthy. And a free kick to Dundalk. And rebounded from Campbell and then Byrne. They got in each other's way and Shelbourne get the ball back. Gagan showing admirable urgency. Liam Kelly running onto this. Hoy going back defending. Brady out of the middle. And Hoy, the man in control. And that all ends with a goal kick. Well, Harry must rue the early miss, Liam Kelly. On that occasion, David Hoy got the better of him.
Just see Tony Sheridan drifting into the central midfield position where I certainly think he could contribute more. I'm just wondering, has Damien Richardson instructed that? Because it might be the thing to do when you're the manager and you're wondering what you can do to improve the situation.
Missed kick by Alan Goff leads to a throw to Dundalk. Paul Carlisle to take. Off Fitzgerald, cleared by Rutherford. Doohan, and it's out off Kelly. And it's a throw into Dundalk. Leave it off the pitch. It's a tense enough occasion. For Dundalk, the prize, no more than a place in the top 6, potentially. But for Shelbourne, there's a real reward available. A reward that would seem certain could they equalise. But as it stands now, they're depending on Pats not to win at Buckley Park. On by Doohan. Dave Smith. Sheridan. Lost it to Ward. Cleared by McCarthy. It's come to Carlisle. Campbell runs free on the right. It's played for him. Rutherford doing the marking job and doing it effectively, harrying Campbell, forcing him into the attentions of Dean Fitzgerald, and now it's Gagan trying to get past Brady. But Kevin Brady has been around for quite a while, and he saw that danger off.
Yeah, it was good to play from an experienced player. Kevin Brady's been around a long time, and he showed all his experience there. Just let the ball run.
333rd league appearance tonight. Not for Dundalk. Been around the clubs. Bows, Rovers. Was he at Shelbourne too? Certainly Derry City.
Yes, he was at Shelbourne when I was in charge there.
So the amalgamation of all those totals amounting to 333. Tony Sheridan to take the throw. That was Carlisle, and out it's gone. For the throw to Shelbourne. 25 minutes or so to go. Things a little anxious. Neville with a cross. Saved by Williams. Ball never left the field of play. Williams' clearance has gone towards Byrne. Nice play by Brian Byrne. Oh, and he's picked out Carlisle. But well defended by Dave Smith. Mick Neville's cross.
Just Mick Neville's. It was more a cross than a shot, obviously, but keeper handled it well.
Corey looking at the free kick, which he was never likely to get. Now it's Fitzgerald. Dave Smith. And that's out for the throw to Dundalk. Misunderstanding between the Shelbourne players, and it ends up with Fitzgerald putting it out of play. The Quilter. Scully. The Quilter again. Sheridan. And Brady with the header away. Well, it's kind of out of his hands now, Damien Richardson. The team's got to do it, or else depend on Pats or should we say Kilkenny, preventing Pats from winning down there.
Of course, Damien still has options on the field. I don't think he wouldn't be looking for the substitutes to come on, because what he's got out there, and I think he'd like to try and do the job. It might be a question of juggling a bit.
As the subs he has, Stuart Connolly, who's home from Cranmere. Declan Gagan is on, of course. And Brian Flood, who scored a memorable goal at this venue when Shelbourne last won the league. Smith pushed over by Brady, and no foul. The referee right there to see it. Campbell, Brian Byrne, throw in.
Well, it's Dave Smith. He's pacey fella, Dave. Like, I mean, he plays it across Kevin Brady, and you know, you kind of question, well, might it have been given as a free kick if it was outside the box? It's one of those dodgy ones.
Dundalk try to put another attack together.
And of course, that'll be controversial.
They'll forget it if Pats don't win in Kilkenny.
Well, yes.
But it will remain controversial until that moment. Oh, a mistake by Scully. Crawley, Ward rather, gets in, and Goff makes the save.
This is what can happen. I mean, Pat Scully there, he's had a story, he's had a sound game, but he's just a little bit careless there in playing it back. And of course, David Ward, you don't leave things lying loose with that lad around.
What an end to the season for David Ward. Campbell. It's McNulty. Byrne. McNulty. Still he's going on. And Byrne tries to get in. The offside flag is up. Yeah, the man who scored the goal, he's only 18, as we were saying. This is only his second start in the Dundalk team. He's only started against Pats and against Shelbourne, and he scored on both occasions.
A little bit, maybe the time of the year for sensational debuts, or like Robbie Keane.
He did line out for them in the League Cup as well, but in terms of the league, that's been his record. And what an effective record it is. And yes, the parallel is there to be drawn. 20 minutes to go at Oriole Park. Dundalk 1, Shelbourne 0. Rutherford taking on Hoy. And the cross from behind.
It's a bit of frustration there. I mean, Mark Rutherford, he battled well to get past the first one, and then he's just, the angle is a little bit sharp, and he just can't get his foot around it. But Shells have got to be getting it wide. They're not getting anything from the other side. Tony Sheridan is a bit frustrated out there, and I just fancy, like, come on, get inside, get in the play, and maybe we can get David Smith coming on overlaps then, because Shells desperately need something.
On by Byrne. Gagan. Rutherford. Stewart. Now Rutherford. Campbell doing the defending. Gagan getting in there. Now Neville. But over the top of Rutherford, it's McQuilter. And out of play for a throw. McNulty. Now Smith. Smith. Cleared by Brady. Scully. On for Gagan. Defended by Crawley. And out for a throw. Smith. Cross for Fitzgerald. Neville, Sheridan, oh dear, in the position to score the spectacular goal, and he got it all wrong.
Well, how we wished he had a right foot there, maybe. You see, it's a good cross here. It's McNeville that heads it down. McNeville just heads it. Maybe Stephen Gagan was actually waiting for a volley behind him. But there's Tony Sheridan, like, and it's right is not his favourite foot.
Kind of shaping up, suggests that it's not there for them tonight. Things going wrong. They have, though, those 18 minutes to put it right. Neville. It's Kelly. Fitzgerald on for Smith. And for Sheridan. McNulty was there, but it's Smith once more. Threaded through for Kelly. Spectacularly cleared by Crawley. And out for the throw. Sheridan. Round the challenge of Crawley. Chance to create something here. Sheridan's cross. Invitingly in. Well saved by Williams. Gagan and Fitzgerald were both there. And Campbell to lead the counter-attack. Byrne makes the run. Campbell checks inside. Here's Carlisle. Byrne was onside. Brian Byrne against Alan Goff. Byrne has made it two! A wonderfully contrived goal. A courageous, speedy finish. A perfectly timed run. And if St. Patrick's Athletic needed incentive, Brian Byrne has given it to them. This league is right up for grabs.
Well, you know, this is a killer blow because Shells are caught so square. And what a good finish there. Like, it'll be Brian Byrne, he keeps us cool. Alan Goff advances and he just lifts it over. What a cruel time to score. But here you are, you see it again. Look at Alan Goff going on, he just lifts it up over him. Not enough. And of course, this came from directly from good goalkeeper the other end. It was nearly a goal from the other end when Tony Sheridan swung in across.
Dundalk's top scorer notches goal number 15 of the season. And you saw there, you couldn't have put it any better. It was a beautiful finish, a striker's goal. Carefully lifted over the onrushing goalkeeper and into the net. Superbly executed. And now Shelbourne must fret and depend upon Alfie Hale's Kilkenny.
Well, you know, it really is ironic the way this is turning out.
Rutherford. Some magic from him. Here's Gagan. McQuilter away. Fitzgerald. One back by McNulty. Byrne for Campbell, who was so influential in that goal. Here's Ray Campbell. Wards through the middle. Campbell has a little look. A little too close to Alan Goff. And that's the man who's made the difference between 1 and 2.
You know, that particular ball that we're just watching that went through Alan Goff, if it had been in the direction of David Ward, he was onside.
Cleared away by Brady. That's for Kelly. And he did well to get there, but he found only Kevin Brady. It's McCarthy. And he's forced the corner, has he? Yes. Ball was out.
Strangely enough, just before that second goal, I had felt that Shells had just, they really were lifting their game, and there was a bit of urgency coming into it, and that was a killer blow. As I said, they nearly scored themselves, and then suddenly they're 2 down.
Sheridan with the corner. Scully at the back. Gagan! Close call for Dundalk.
Here we are, Tony Sheridan playing it deep, and it's headed back in by, I think it's Pat Scully. And Stephen Gagan just a little bit too high for him. He just can't steer it in. Under challenge by Tom McNulty, I think.
What a frustrating evening for Shelbourne. They need 2 to salvage this match. Here's Campbell for Dundalk. Carlisle and McQuilter under pressure from Sheridan. Fitzgerald now has it. Smith. Shepherded away by McNulty. And this will be Crawley. And that's away from McNulty.
Well, while Shelbourne slipped further behind at Oriel Park, it has to be said that St. Pat's are finding it hard to break the deadlock. Still 1-1 down at Buckley Park against Kilkenny City. A great chance here for Martin Riley. Slight suspicion that he might have played his arm there, but really he should have made more of that one at Buckley Park. So still 1-1 down in Kilkenny.
And it's still 2-0 here, and it really is out of Shelbourne's hands now. They had it in their control. They had the winning of this league, but now Damien Richardson knows 2 goals is a very tall order, and it really now depends on what happens at Buckley Park. Dundalk have grown into this game and have knocked 2 past Shells. Is that a handball? No.
Significantly, we've got Tony Sheridan gone into the middle of midfield, and Mick Neville has dropped back into the back 4.
Comes Smith. Brian Byrne. Dispossessed by Rutherford. The offside flag stayed down. Brady has cleared it. Neville. And for Rutherford. Good looking cross, but having made the most of the difficult part. Well, the easy part was to get a man in there, and that didn't happen. Carlisle. Campbell. Carlisle again. Back it goes to Hoy. Campbell. Challenge there from Fitzgerald. It's broken free to Byrne. Crawley. Offside flag against Ward. And 10 minutes, a little over to go.
Pat Scully has gone up front as well. It's a last throw of the dice really for Shells here.
Well, they're going to go down with all guns blazing if go down they are to do. So it doesn't much matter anymore. They have to try and get a point out of this to reclaim their own destiny. Otherwise, it's going to be decided by Kilkenny and Pats. Carlisle looking for Campbell. It's McNeville, and that's a goal kick to Shelbourne.
Shells are going to a 3-4-3. We've got McCarthy, Neville and Gagan at the back.
That's Declan Gagan. This McQuilter. Play forward for Campbell to chase. Byrne and Ward in the middle. Campbell's cross, not a good one. Fitzgerald to bring it away. Sheridan. McCarthy, the centre half, pushing on forward. He couldn't keep the ball in play. And it's a throw in to Dundalk. He's not letting desperation enter the equation at all. Reasoned encouragement to his men. Indeed, Fitzgerald fouled Brian Byrne. And by such a thin thread do championships hang. Shelbourne, within 9 minutes of the finish of this, within a half an hour of a coach journey home that will either be the ecstasy as champions or the agony as runners-up. And really, there's no way of knowing at this point. Here's Brian Byrne for Dundalk. Knocked over by Fitzgerald, but no foul. and Fitzgerald clears. Duran commits the foul on Kelly. Free kick to Shelbourne. They've taken it quickly. Sheridan for Rutherford. Taking on Hoy. Rutherford's cross. Cleared by the impeccable Duran. Ray Campbell. Wards through the middle. Carlisle fouled by Neville.
Yeah, it's a good play with Mark Rutherford. He gets in a decent cross here, which is just Duran is doing very well, very solid in there from the middle of the back for Dundalk. I'm just thinking it's going to be a very strange feeling for Damien Mitchell if Shells win the league the way things are. They'll have done the work all through, they deserve it, but it's going to be a really, really strange feeling.
I think there can be few complaints about whoever wins the league, because both Pats and Shelbourne have, in their own ways, deserved to win it. But that it should come to this, they'll both feel that it could have been so different, and Pats will feel that they've lost it.
Well, you know, we mentioned at the start of this game the twists in the tail that have happened this season. Isn't it really strange? Right down to this game, or these two games.
Carlisle with the throw. Rutherford, McCarthy. Oh, Byrne might get onto this. Oh! What a way to sign off your season that would have been.
That was a great effort. Brian Byrne, he's got it. I mean, he's an excellent player. I know all about him. I had him over at Huddersfield Town, but he's a great left foot, and of course he catches this really well. And just what a great goal it would have been. Just goes off the angle. Angle at crossbar and post. Brilliant effort.
Goff beaten, and the woodwork.
I think any keeper would have been beaten with that one, George.
Oh, indeed, without question. And one of those that you're fortunate to be right behind all the way. A super shot by Brian Byrne, but denied by the woodwork. Encouraging for Dundalk's summer and their prospects next season. Jim McLaughlin appears to be finding a bit of a blend here. Crossed by Crawley, headed clear by Gagan, but it's McQuilter. Campbell. And Gagan got the little nick on it. It's a throw into Dundalk. What a tense final 5 minutes this is going to be. Well, there has been an announcement of a man of the match. Some of the crowd have been able to hear it, but I'm afraid the public address doesn't reach the part of the ground where we're situated. But the miracles of modern technology are not to be denied. We can tell you who the man of the match is. And hardly surprisingly, in just his second league start, having scored his second league goal, David White. David Ward gets the man of the match, the Lily White man of the match.
Yeah, he deserves it actually, you know, because his overall contribution has been pretty good.
Like Robbie Keane, belies his years in the way he plays.
Certainly. The way he took his goal there, and what I saw of him last Sunday too, seems an excellent prospect. But you know, we were saying like about the tougher of the two tasks was to come here and get the draw. Credit to Kilkenny, they've made me eat my words anyway, so far that is, Alfie Hill.
Well, they may be going straight back down again, along with Dundalk's neighbours Drogheda, but they clearly want to go down with dignity, and they'd certainly have that if they turned out to have denied St Patrick's Athletic ultimately the title. Here's Scully, in goes Kelly, saved by Williams. Gagan, it's 2-1. Well, Liam Kelly created it, and Stephen Gagan got there in the end.
As David Smith gets the cross in, and it's headed back down by Pat Scully. Let's see, we see Liam Kelly. It's a great save actually from Liam Kelly, and of course that's really tucked in brilliantly by Stephen Gagan. Great finish from that angle.
We should credit the goalkeeper because he's had a fine match.
Yeah, it was
Williams.
a great save he made from Liam Kelly there.
And not anybody would have put it in from there, but 20 goals Stephen Gagan would, and that's the key of the door goal for him this season. his 21st.
It's just another little twist.
Yes, just under 3 minutes to go. Dundalk are offside. But that may not be enough, because Eddie Gormley, the St. Patrick's Athletic captain, has put Kilkenny behind, has put St. Patrick's Athletic in front, and they may need Gagan again. These final 2.5 minutes here at Oriel Park, Shelbourne must score to win the title, and Scully nearly did.
This is unbelievable. I mean, this is, I mean, the excitement, this is unbelievable. Look at this, it's a great cross in, and look at Pat Scully, he's going to get it. He gets ahead, and a great goalkeeping again. He's down there, because look at Liam Kelly ready to pounce on it. But the consequences of all that's going on here is unbelievable.
We could not have had more twists and turns on this night of drama, and the FAI Hartlager National League may yet not be over for Shelbourne.
Oh, the emotions that are tied up in this. In the last couple of minutes, when we hear the news from Kilkenny, I mean, the Shells players must know it too. I mean, it's unbelievable.
An historic night, and yet again Dundalk are playing their part in the destiny of the championship. Shelbourne's 9th title may not be theirs at all. The atmosphere in Oriel Park is electric. The Shelbourne fans have let off their red flares in premature celebration, but they had the winning of the league themselves, not unlike Liverpool in England back in '89, when they could have lost 1-0 at home to Arsenal and still won the league, but they didn't. They lost 2-0, and that was that. They didn't win, Arsenal did. Here in Oriel Park, it's much the same. Perhaps if Shelbourne had to win, they would have, but they didn't. A draw would have done, and they played inhibited football, and now in the final minute, they're a matter of seconds away from the stark reality that the championship is going back to Inchicore. This is incredible.
It certainly is. I mean, what Damien Richardson must be going through his thoughts now. It is, and you just still think that there's going to be another chance.
Here's the corner from Sheridan. Can Shelbourne salvage it at the end? Williams goes up, and the header goes over the bar, and it's a goal kick to Dundalk.
It's Tony Sheridan swing this in. I think it's Dean Fitzgerald that gets the head here. Yeah, he challenges Steve Williams, but he puts it over the top.
And we're now in stoppage time at the end of this dramatic league campaign. Shelbourne are offside. It's a free kick to Dundalk.
That's, you know, that is so soul-destroying when Dundalk do that. They push up and they're organised at this time of a game, and they kill Shelbourne off. It really is a killer, like when that happens.
And that linesman signal, the flag across the chest, indicating to Hubert Byrne that he, on his watch, John Kelly's watch, the time is up. The referee has a good look at his watch. Alan Goff sends Shelbourne on one last attack, one last chance to salvage this championship. Shelbourne still in the possession, but Hubert Byrne is the crucial man. There's the final whistle. It's all over. And Shelbourne's dream is dashed. Utter desolation as they await the confirmation of what now appears inevitable, that St. Patrick's Athletic will have won in Kilkenny. It now depends upon Alfie Hale's Kilkenny City to score for Shelbourne to win this league. It's out of their hands, and they know it.
Well, you know, you've got to feel for Shells. There's no doubt. You know, whilst Pat Dolan and Pat Setney will, you know, that's great. They've had a great season. The two of them have been neck and neck, but really, what a way to lose it.
The Dundalk faithful, the Shelbourne faithful, they rise to acclaim these teams after a wonderful match, a great occasion, a drama of the highest. Final score at Oriel Park is Dundalk 2, Shelbourne 1. And we're going to see what Damien Richardson has to say about this, if he has anything to say at all, given how he must be feeling. But we await confirmation that the game in Kilkenny is over. Here's Damien.
Damien, the game isn't over at Buckley Park. There was some stoppage there, so we're talking about maybe 4 or 5 minutes yet. As far as you're concerned, is the title over now?
Not really. It won't be until we get the result from
Kilkenny. The basic point on this, we didn't do ourselves justice tonight. We left it too late before people performed to any great extent. When we did start performing, we had them under great pressure. But that's the league. We've had a great season, wonderful season, the league. I can't complain about one game that's maybe not been up to scratch. The last 2 months have been magnificent, and it's just a little bit disappointing to not perform on the night as we did. But we've got to pick up the threads and go to next week and make up for it. That's what professional football is all about.
Was it stage fright on the big night? Was it nerves on the part of the players?
No. I mean, it was a bit of everything combined. The pitch was rock hard. There was no way you could play football on it, so we had to perform getting a ball forward, which doesn't suit us. That's part and parcel of being a league champions. You have to take all these things in your stride. Dundalk fought like their lives depended on it. I mean, this is the peculiarity of teams down the middle of the table, nothing to play for. They come out on a big occasion like this and play. And that's the bottle is when you're up the top, or when you're down the bottom fighting like UCD and Derry are, or you're up the top like Shelbourne. That's the bottle. And but at the end of it, it comes down to a very exciting season, a wonderful season, and we've played a huge part, and I'm very proud of that.
When you were looking at your bench tonight, though, and a lot of the players that weren't on the bench would have been available to you bar suspension, the likes of Desi Baker and Pat Fenlon, Dave Campbell as well injured, of course. That's a lot of talent you had not at your disposal tonight.
I feel very cheated by an antiquated disciplinary system we have in Ireland, I have to say. Desi Baker, 50-odd games this season, 5 bookings, 1 in every 10-11 games. Yes, missed the most important game of the season, but way behind this in our football here. And I've been asking for a think tank all last season, and it didn't happen in the summer despite promises. I'm asking again, people get together, interested parties from all the different people, supporters, players, directors, and get together and have a game plan. We have no game plan. The FAI keep telling me they don't want Wimbledon in the country. They don't tell me what we're getting. They don't say what we're doing for the game. And I'm telling people, if we don't become more professional, we'll soon disappear. We have a wonderful product here, and unfortunately people at the top are not utilising the skills properly. And we see players out there tonight working all season. 52 games this year we played so far, and that's the players have been the best has not been done by the players. We need administrators with confidence, with integrity and ability, and not just self-interest. And this game in the game in this country will start to slide back again if people don't start taking the proper action.
It's weird. The game isn't over in Kilkenny yet, but a word about St. Pat's if they do turn out to be the league champions this year.
They'll be worthy champions. Whoever finishes at the top is worthy champions. Pats have been magnificent. They fought us tooth and nail. We pushed them tooth and nail. It's fitting that to Pats and Shells it goes right down to the last 5 minutes of Kilkenny. That's what professional football is about. When we get other teams like Shamrock Rovers and Cork City next year, you'll have even more vibrant power. But until we get together and get our act together in an administrative sense and in all those to get the game as professional as we possibly can, we're not going to do anything, and we're always going to be poor cousins in Europe. And I'm just saying to the people at the top, get your finger out and get the act together.
Damien, we'll let you know as soon as we know. Thanks indeed very much for talking to us.
Well, what an evening, and Dundalk, what a night it's been, and still they play in Kilkenny. We've had a fabulous match here. 2-1 final score then, and the championship appears to be on its way to Inchicore.
Yes, thank you, George. And I can tell you, in fact, that the championship has gone to Inchicore because that game is now over at Buckley Park. It finished Kilkenny City 1, St. Patrick's Athletic 2. What a dramatic end to the 1997-98 Premier Division season. Well, Pat and Tommy, I don't think we could have asked for anything more in terms of excitement. That really was last gasped up. But you really have to feel for Damien Richardson there. You know, a very emotional moment. He realised the title was gone. But really, I mean, Shelbourne, were they their own worst enemies tonight?
Well, we said before the game that, well, at half-time I said that it's not over till the fat lady sings. I should probably rephrase and say it's not over till the fat man sings, and I'm saying the fat man will probably be singing right this minute. I felt sorry for Shelbourne. They never played. They're a very, very good side, and on the night they didn't play. It was a great game, a great entertainment for the National League. It's fantastic, and what a dramatic night, and for St. Pat's in particular to win it down in Kilkenny. And the good thing about it is that you look at Dundalk and you look at Kilkenny, and right down to the last, they're fighting and they're playing and they're putting it in, and all credit to them. I suppose when you look back over the season, big with Shelbourne, they were very unlucky tonight losing their main players, but they didn't play on the night, and fair dues to St. Pat's.
Well, here are live pictures from Buckley Park. Needless to say, the couple of thousand of St. Pat's fans who made the journey down there tonight will be celebrating long into the night. It's going to be a busy town, Kilkenny, tonight, but let's send our congratulations to Pat Dolan and the team. Certainly, Pat, you know, his first full season in charge, this is quite a moment for him. Well,
I mean, Pat came along and everybody said that Brian Kerr was a very difficult act to follow. And in some ways it might have been the poison chalice, but I think when you look at the work that St. Pat's have done off the pitch, and you look at Shelbourne, I think it's fantastic to see them here on the final night together, toot and toot, and hope one another will slip up. But Pat Dolan has done a tremendous job, as Damien has in Shelbourne, but Pat in particular in his first year, very, very difficult year for him, and he's been there. I've looked at his comments all week, and all he kept saying is we'll be champions on Friday night, and here they are, they're champions. But he's done a smashing job, and all credit to them. Great performance.
Yeah, certainly great scenes down there tonight, as you can see. Tommy, your feelings on the way it turned out tonight?
Unbelievable, gobsmacked. I cannot believe the Sheld players a bitter pill to swallow, because they never performed at all, and it's going to be hard. They have to live with the fact that they had the league there for the taking, and on the night they weren't good enough. The pressure got to them, whatever. But as I say, the league table doesn't lie, and at the end of 33 games, Pats are top, and deservedly so. It's not won or lost tonight, really. It's over the season, but for the Shells, as I say, it must be a really bitter pill for them to swallow.
Yeah, gut-wrenching really for Shelbourne, but St. Pat's, and for so long 1-1 there in the second half, and we thought that goal was never going to come, but of course, and then the guy who got it, Pat, I mean, Eddie Gormley, he hasn't had the best of seasons for St. Pat's this year, although he has come a little bit better in the last couple of games. Now, here's the goal that decided the league this season. Leon Braithwaite involved, Polo Sam very much in the middle of it there as well. Coming out to Eddie Gormley, actually took a deflection there as he saw. Well, what a way to decide.
What a cracker.
Yeah, indeed. Lots of spectators getting onto the pitch. But that was in the dying minutes of the game, it has to be said, and taking it to goal. But they won't mind what way it's gone in, Pat, will they?
Absolutely not. When you get down to the wire like that, you don't care where it goes. But personally, I'm delighted for Eddie Gormley. He's a very good friend, and he played for Zimbray, and I'm delighted for him. But that's football. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. Look at it. Look at it. When you look at the goal itself here, it's unbelievable. It could have went anywhere.
Yeah, Leon
bouncing around,
a little bit
and he gets a nice little touch, and in it goes. Look at the joy, unreal, great scenes.
Well, I think prior to tonight's programme, most would have felt that the cup was possibly going to be lifted in Oriel Park, but down in Buckley Park tonight, now St. Patrick's Athletic, they're live pictures actually. Unfortunately, our satellite is acting up, as it always does on these sort of occasions, Tommy, but really a great moment for St. Patrick's Athletic.
Oh, it certainly is. That they must be chuffed to bits. It's never an easy place to go as of late. Kilkenny have turned it round for themselves, but I felt they would sneak it tonight, and I always thought that Shells had the tougher match up in Dundalk. So great. I'm delighted for Pat Dolan. As I say, he's come in and done a marvellous job. But it's only fitting that Shells and Pats, who I feel have the blueprint for the way that the National League has to go, have challenged right down to the final 90 minutes of a long, hard 8.5, 9 months for it to come down to the last 5 minutes really of it. It's only fitting. They are the most professional and go-ahead clubs. And as Waterford United take that step, that is the plan we have to follow.
Certainly to get more full-time players on your staff, that'll be a plan for next season, will it? Well,
we certainly have to. I mean, they have done and dusted it all through the season. That they have professionals on board, and they're here, champions and runners-up. And as I say, if we want to perform at a higher level and hold our own, we must look at what they have done and follow them.
Well, we're back live at Buckley Park watching the celebrations there for the Pats fans. Pat, you were talking earlier on about the strength and depth of the two clubs who are vying for the title tonight, and it really showed, I suppose, at Oriel Park that Damien Richardson was able to take off Greg Costello, who picked up an injury, and replace him with the player of Gagan's ability.
Well, the resources that they have available to them, both clubs, but to be fair to them, I remember not so long ago that Shelbourne were struggling badly in Harold Cross, and St. Pat's were actually struggling badly. And I mean, it's great to see two clubs like that up here, and they fully deserve, and I agree with Tommy totally. If you're going to be in National League football, it's brilliant. It's a fantastic entertainment, and people love it. But if you're going to be there, there's only one place, and that's at the very top. And when you look at what they've done, and you look at the squads they've put together, I mean, it's a fantastic achievement for both clubs. And it's just a pity that there's someone has to be runner-up. But again, they've put down the marker for everybody else on and off the park, and if you're going to go there, that's the act you've got to follow. But these people, and particularly the people who work behind the scenes, in both clubs, have been fantastic to the game this country over the years, and I think fair dues, they've got it tonight, and it's unfortunate it has to be a loser.
OK, well, we're desperately trying to get hold of Pat Dolan down there in Kilkenny, the winning manager. Needless to say, he's surrounded by well-wishers and talking to his players in the dressing room as well. I'm sure it was a very nervous end of game for them because they would have been fully aware of the situation, of course, at Oriel Park. So they knew that that goal was vital if they were to snatch the league at the death, and that's what they certainly did. Well, we can have a look back at the goals that decided the issue down in Buckley Park tonight. The first goal came after 5 minutes. This is Eddie Gormley involved, the guy who scored the winner at the end of the day. Good corner in, really, a good free kick in, I should say. John Connolly really should have done better. And there's the opener coming from Colin Hawkins after 5 minutes at Buckley Park. Well, Kilkenny City equalised. Ray Carlin sending the ball in towards Trevor Vaughan. That was Mick Moody's attempted clearance, rebounded off Martin Reid, and he slipped it into the back of the net. So 1-1, and Kilkenny showed that they were really up for it tonight with that goal. But now the one, we're going to see this more than once or twice before next weekend, the goal that decided the National League Premier Division for 1997-98. Scored here by Eddie Gormley. A little bit of assistance on the way from the Kilkenny City player, but I'm sure Eddie Gormley will claim the credit for that one. Certainly the most important goal he's scored so far this season. And scenes of unbridled joy, as it were, down in Buckley Park tonight for the St. Patrick's Athletic fans. But for all the Shells fans, well, disappointment once again. They've come so close, really, in recent years, and Damien has come so close, but just doesn't happen for them in the league for some reason.
Yeah, the league has been elusive, and particularly for Damien. But you know, you've got to give them credit. I mean, Shelbourne, you've got to look at them and say, look what they've done. And I wouldn't think that they'd be dropping their heads. They've got the cup final to go forward to. You know, only that Pat's got their act together in recent years. You know, Shelbourne could have been just pulling away on everybody else. And I think it's fantastic that the likes of Pats are up there. Next year, you think Rovers with Bows. Hopefully, the likes of Waterford and Bray can add a little bit more to it. But the league needs new faces. And as I said, not too long ago, Shells and Pats were gone. But no, the league is thriving, it's moving, and all credit to Shelbourne, and in particular to St. Pat's tonight. They deserve all the rewards. And now they're in Europe. I mean, young Thomas Morgan could have stayed in England last year, and he decided to come back home, and here he is now winning the league championship medal. I remember talking to him, and now he's going into Europe with St. Pat's, and he's a full-timer in Ireland. It's great. It's the way forward. It certainly is, and I think we all have to follow them.
OK, Pat, thanks for the moment. We can go back to Oriel Park now and rejoin George Hamilton and Owen Hand.
Well, it's quite incredible what has taken place this evening. I think in terms of National League soccer, it could not have been a more dramatic ending, even down to the fact that right here, Stephen Gagan, who else, top scorer, in he goes and scores the goal. That means that Shelbourne could actually have salvaged it right up to the wire. But Eddie Gormley had a deflection. Owen Hand, we've never seen the like of that.
Well, you know, like, I mean, it's been such an exciting league, and I think that everybody's been following it, whether they were there at the games live or watching it on TV. I think that, you know, let's hope that we'll draw an awful lot more people in to watch what is an excellent product, as Damien's saying. But it really was. I mean, such excitement. Anybody who's got anything about them, sort of about drama and about mistakes, even the goal that we saw, like, I don't think the viewers have seen it, the goal that won the league down at Kilkenny. The twists that were going on, day in, day out, like week in, week out, you know, Shell's going ahead, Pat's going ahead. Great credit to both teams. There's no doubt about it. It's been an absolutely intriguing league, and really do feel sorry for whoever it was going to lose out. Unfortunately, it was Shells, and they did not play. I mean, if you want to talk about the nitty-gritty of the game, I just felt that Shells did suffer badly from the loss of particularly the two of them, Desi Baker and Pat Fenlon. Pat Fenlon for his creativity in the middle of the park to get it out wide for the likes of Desi Baker, because they didn't really get any crosses coming from the right. Tony Sheridan was a bit lost out there. They never really got playing, and that is not just, it's just one of the, you've got to take it. I mean, it's all part and parcel of the suspension. They come at the wrong time, and I feel really sorry for Shells having gone through it, but there is a huge consolation for them in so much as that Sunday week they've got a big cup final against Cork. But a huge congratulations to the Pats. I mean, I've watched them, I've been to all their games, and again, I mean, there's been a lot of credit hurled their way, and deservedly so. So the winners really are the people who follow soccer in this country.
And I think we'd have to say we've been very fortunate ourselves in that this is our first season of live televising of National League. And what have we got? We've had some wonderful matches, and we've had such a finale.
Yeah. I mean, I know that early doors, some of the games weren't as exciting as they might have been, but maybe that was the intrigue of the whole thing. Maybe somebody knew the script. It was all building up to a crescendo. The finale was going to be great, and that's exactly what it was.
Well, it's been won with a record number of points by St.
Well, we believe that we have Pat Dolan now at Buckley Park, so maybe we'll hear from the winning manager now.
Let's please move back. Please move back.
Well, extraordinary scenes here at Buckley Park tonight. I'm joined by Pat Dolan and thousands of Pat supporters. Pat, how does it feel?
I'm the happiest man in the world. We deserve to be champions of Ireland. We were the best team. But I'd like to pay tribute to Shelbourne Football Club and their dressing room now. There'll be a lot of low players. And at times like this, it's very easy to say how great we were, but they were great too. And my heart and soul goes out to them because they were champions. Whoever won this championship, both sides came out with dignity. And I'm sure they'll be back. But we knew we could do it, and we got the result that we deserved. And I'm so happy for the best supporters in this world. Unfortunately, listen, I've got my brother Eamon, my father, my mother's not here to witness it, but I'm so proud of my players, my backroom staff. Dave Mahidi, Noel O'Reilly, Cyril Walsh, Stephen Kenny, John Coyle. We're a team on and off the pitch. The chairman, the best chairman in Irish football, Tim O'Flaherty. Thanks to all the Super Saints. And I'm sorry for Shelbourne, but I'm so delighted because we were the best and we proved it tonight.
Yes, I think it's fair to say that Pat Dolan is mildly ecstatic with that victory down at Buckley Park tonight. Of course, the significance of it. St Patrick's Athletic win the 1997-98 National League Premier Division, and they'll celebrate long into the night down there. Well, almost time for us to go. Once again, let me thank our panellists, Pat Devlin from Bray Wanderers, of course, and Tommy Lynch, player manager at Waterford United. Congratulations to both gentlemen. Of course, they'll be vying with the big boys in the Premier Division next year. OK, so it's been a wonderful night for St Pat's. They take their 6th league title, so congratulations all around. And by the way, many thanks to our technical staff who are working overtime down in Buckley Park to get those pictures back to us towards the end of the game. But in the meantime, from us all here, a very good night to you. Congratulations to St Patrick's Athletic.